Cookin. I'm your hostess, Cindy Schumacher. On today's show, we're going to be making huli huli chicken, island salsa, almond rice pilaf, a blueberry spinach salad, and a festive fruit shortcake. So we've got a lot to do. We're going to start with getting the chicken marinating, and I have 4 to 6 boneless. You use 4 to 6 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm using 6 today, and you take half teaspoon of garlic salt, a half teaspoon of kosher salt. I keep kosher salt on hand. I actually use kosher salt for my canning salt, so I always have it, or like if I'm making soft pretzels or something, it's a little bit coarser salt, but it's nice to have on hand. Soy sauce, I need a 1/4 cup. Two tablespoons, it calls for sesame oil. If you can't find sesame oil in your store, a good substitute is canola oil, so I'm using 2 tablespoons of canola oil. A tablespoon of sugar. 6 cloves of garlic, minced. You can use it in the jar pre-minced if you like. And a teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to whisk that all together. And we're going to pour it in our Ziploc bag with the chicken. Spatula so we can get every drop. And we're going to let this marinate for 2 hours or overnight if you know that that's what you're making for something. I always kind of squish it around and make sure that the chicken gets covered, and then you're going to want to flip it in your refrigerator at about halfway through or so. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break and get this cleaned up, and then we're going to get the rice going because that takes about an hour, so we'll be right back.
Blazing fast broadband internet from Valley is now available and better than ever. Let us help you decide which speed is best for you. The 50 meg speed would be sufficient for 1 to 4 devices, mainly emailing and surfing the web. Our 100 meg speed works great for 5 to 8 devices and multiple users streaming and downloading video. If you have 8 devices or more that are simultaneously streaming or gaming, or if you have a medium-sized business, the 250 meg speed would work best for you. For extreme heavy home or work from home use, or if you have a medium to large business using 15 or more devices, you may want to consider our 500 meg download speed to fit your needs. And if you're a home or business that needs it all, we have our 1000 meg, 1 gig broadband internet speed. Call our office today at 437-2615 and talk with one of our staff members to pick the speed that's best for you.
Okay, I'm working on the rice. I have a stick of butter that I have melting in the skillet, and as soon as that is melted, we're going to stir in our 1 cup of long grain rice and our cup of mushrooms and 2/3 cup of green onion. I think it's 2/3, isn't it? Or 3/4? Okay, I'm going to stir in the rice. Our fresh mushrooms. green onions, and a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Okay, and we're going to want to cook this, stirring pretty frequently for about 5 minutes. If you're a mushroom lover, you'll like this rice. And it has nice color with the green onions and everything. Okay, so once that gets going, I guess we can start working on the salad. I have, this is a pound of spinach that I have stemmed, and remember, I always remind you, take the time to stem your spinach, because those stems they're hard to digest. They're, people can choke on them, and they're just hard to chew. And it just doesn't look very good when you've got a stem sticking out of your mouth. So I have washed and stemmed a pint of blueberries. We're going to sprinkle that over here. And the recipe calls for 4 ounces of blue cheese, crumbled. This time of the year where you can find blueberries in the store and they're so reasonably priced, it's a nice time to make this salad. And then it calls for toasted pecans or walnuts. What I'm actually using are pecans that I have made the spicy pecans, and I've done that on an earlier show if you want to look that up and get that recipe. Otherwise, you can just toast them in a slow oven for about 10 minutes. But we're going to sprinkle those on. And you can see that makes a pretty salad right there. And we'll be making the dressing shortly, but I want to keep an eye on this. If you want a copy of any of the recipes that we're making today, you can go to the Valley homepage on the internet, and on the right hand side you'll see the Country Cooking Cow. You click on that. If you don't have internet, call the girls at Valley. They'd be happy to get you a copy of any of the recipes or all of them. And just because I put together a menu doesn't mean you have to necessarily do that. If you have a favorite rice or a favorite something that you want to, I just give you ideas. So anyway, that looks about right. Now to this we're going to add 2 2/3 cup of chicken broth. Okay, now we're going to add 3/4 cup of slivered almonds. You can use slivered or sliced, whatever you can find in the store. And then I have greased a 8x8 glass pan, a 2-quart, 2-quart serving dish if you don't use an 8x8. I preheated my oven to 325, and we're going to cover this with foil and let it bake for about an hour. Okay, we're going to take a break while I get the next stuff out to start making the cake. We'll be right back.
Get 3 months free access on all lines plus a new 4G smartphone for only $4.99 a month. 2 great offers with Valley Cellular. Call Valley today at 437-2615 to take advantage of this great deal.
Okay, we're going to make the shortcake now. I have 2.5 cups of flour. To that, I'm going to add a half teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder. We're going to combine it with a whisk. And then I have 1.5 cups of butter. I know you're thinking this is very rich, but it's such a smooth, delicious cake. You're really going to like it. So I'm going to combine the 1.5 cups of butter with 1 pound of confectioner's sugar. Once you have that pretty well combined, we're going to start adding eggs. 6 eggs, one at a time. If you're making this cake at home, you want to go ahead and take your time. I'm rushing it just a little bit to save a little time, but go ahead and make sure that each egg is very well incorporated before you add in the next one. And it works really nice if you have them all cracked like I have and ready to go, so you don't have to stop and crack each one. Nice rich batter, as you can see here. Okay, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm using pure vanilla. That just about does my bottle there. Once you have your vanilla combined in there, then you add your dry ingredients. Grab a spatula and scrape down my sides. Okay, you can use I'm using a bundt pan. You can, if you want to use the round loaf pan, you can do that too. I don't have one, so I use a bundt pan, and I kind of like the pattern that a bundt pan gives you. We're going to put this in the oven at 350 and we're going to bake it for 50 to 55 minutes. Just keep an eye on it when it gets close. Everyone's oven bakes a little differently, so looks like this. We're going to get it in the oven. We'll be right back.
Faster than fast internet is here. Valley now has higher broadband speeds of up to 1 gigabit. Get the bandwidth you need for all your devices at one time. Gaming with no lag time. Video stream your favorite movies instantly in HD quality. Video chat with friends and family without interruption. Download your favorite music and photos in seconds. All on our 100% fiber optics network. Valley offers managed Wi-Fi and backup services too, bringing together all the services you need. Valley Telecommunications Cooperative.
Okay, we're going to make the dressing for the salad. We're going to start with a half cup of vegetable oil, 3 tablespoons of blueberry vinegar. If you don't have blueberry vinegar, you can use white wine vinegar or raspberry vinegar. This is a company that I found. It's called Fat Louie's Olive Oil Company, and they make the most wonderful vinegars. So I usually, and I have to order them over the internet, but I usually buy several kinds because they're such a treat. But I'm sure you'll be able to find something if you look. Raspberry vinegar is pretty common. A teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I don't know why I threw these in here. And we need a teaspoon of sugar. And that's all there is to it. We're going to mix it up. And now we're going to do salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to just take a little bit of a taste of it so I know kind of what I'm working with. I actually kind of like it the way it is, but I am going to put a little pepper in it and just a dash of salt. Trouble with salt is you can always add more, but you can't take it out. So that's ready to go. We'll put it in the refrigerator so it chills a little bit, and then we'll start making the island salsa. This salsa is to be served on the side of the chicken, and it's just so colorful, and it's just a nice condiment for something like that. So I'm going to use this little chopper that I have. It's a DeMaro product, and it's easy to clean. But I'm going to start with, it calls for a half cup of peeled pineapple. I have fresh pineapple. It was on sale at the store. So a few pulls here. See how it is? I'm going to a couple more. The more you pull on this, the finer it gets. Now, this recipe also calls for mango, and sometimes our store has it, sometimes it doesn't. If you can't find mango, peaches are a good substitute for it. So we need a half cup of peaches. Next, it calls for a half cup of yellow or red bell pepper. I use red because I like the color that it gives. I already have the 2 different yellows with the peach and with the pineapple. see it's already making a real colorful collection. Okay, we've got a 1/3 cup of kiwi. This might be a little bit too much. I think I'll cut it in half. A 1/4 cup of red onion. Start with that, see how that goes. You can see all the colors that are getting incorporated here, how pretty that looks. Okay, so we need an 1/8 cup of fresh parsley or cilantro. If you like cilantro, I don't care for cilantro, so I use parsley. Parsley isn't quite as strong and it's a little more peppery. And then we need a 1/2 teaspoon of green chili. I have green chili here. A 1/2 teaspoon isn't a lot, but we'll just chop that real fine. Now, I'm going to remind you again, if you want a copy of any of these recipes, and if you don't have internet, give the girls at Valley a call. They'll be happy to get you a copy of it. You can see how pretty that is. And sometimes, when you're eating something like chicken that doesn't have a lot of color, it's nice to serve something like this on the side. I'm going to squeeze some fresh lime in there. You can just squeeze it with your hand. I happen to have a press for citrus, and this is supposed to be a teaspoon. I'm just going to kind of, these are really small limes, so this is going to be about perfect. Okay, once again, this recipe calls for salt and pepper to taste. Got a kiwi that's a little bit big there. Just once again, I'm going to start just with a little bit of salt, and then I'm going to sample it and make sure that we've got a good concoction here. Yep, I think that's good. I'm going to just let you see what that looks like. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it chill. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, the chicken has been marinating for a couple of hours, so we're going to take it out of our Ziploc bag and we're going to discard the marinade. So you can see with the soy sauce and everything, it gives it kind of a nice caramely color. So I'm going to quick run out and get this on the grill. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to combine the fruit for the shortcake. So it calls for a couple of bananas. I'm just going to use one because the bananas weren't very ripe. So I'm just going to slice it into and throw it in. I'm going to put them on the bottom until I mix it so that they don't discolor. Okay, it calls for 2 cups of peaches sliced, so I've got them peeled and we'll just kind of thinly slice them. A bit bigger. And then sometimes I take another little swipe through them just so that they're easier to eat when you're eating with a piece of cake. And you can use, serve this with Cool Whip, or you can use real whipped cream, whichever you prefer. Okay, 2 cups of strawberries. This is a little bit more, but I like the red color that the strawberries give you. And then 2 cups of pineapple. I'm going to, this is fresh pineapple actually. I cleaned a pineapple, but I'm going to cut these a little bit smaller as we're using them. And if you don't have access to fresh pineapple, canned pineapple works just fine. You're just going to want to drain it. I have a bunch of grapes that I've halved. I'm using green grapes so that I have the green color in there. And then 2 cups of, actually 1 cup of blueberries. I have 2 in here because it was a pint that I washed, and so we'll just use about half of that. And so that's how it looks. And so you're going to take a scoop of that, a scoop or 2, and on your cake after you put your whipped cream. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and let it chill until we're ready to go. If you're making this earlier in the summer and your fruit isn't quite sweet, you can always just swizzle a little bit of brown sugar or a little bit of white sugar, or if you want to use stevia or something like that, just to kind of marry all the flavors together. That's just fine. So we've got the chicken on the grill. Everything's just about ready to come out. It won't be long. We'll be eating. Be right back. Okay, we've got everything ready, so we're going to start the dish. As always, if you think that you're not going to be using your entire salad at the time that you're serving it, then you want to just pass the dressing and let your guests use it themselves, and then your salad will keep better for the second time you're going to be using it. But we're going to drizzle a little dressing on there. You can use real whipped cream or Cool Whip, like I said before. I'm using Cool Whip here. There we have it. We have the huli huli chicken with the island salsa, the almond rice pilaf, the blueberry spinach salad, and festive fruit shortcake. Thanks for joining us on this segment of Country Cooking. We hope to see you next time.